Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of Blueprint Nodes Made Easy series. In this tutorial, we are going to take a look at the event tick node, learn how it works, and build a few simple examples to see it in action. In the previous episode, we are learned that event begin play runs only once when the game starts. But what if we want something to happen continuously? For example, making an object rotate all the time, constantly updating a health bar, or constantly checking an enemy's position. In these cases, begin play isn't the right choice. That's where one of the most important blueprint nodes in Unreal Engine come in: event tick. Event tick is a node that runs once every frame. In other words, as long as the game is running, this event is called continuously. That allows us to place any logic inside it that needs to update constantly. Now let's see how we can use this node. First, I'll add a cube component to our blueprint. Then, inside the event graph, this time we'll use the add relative rotation node, which allows us to rotate our component. I set the Z input to 2, and science will already connected our cube to the target pin. The only thing left is to connect the white execution wire from Eventic. Now, as soon as we press play, our cube starts rotating and continues to rotate indefinitely. If the video has been helpful so far, please support us by liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Now, for example, if we place our character on top of this box and press play, the character will start rotating along with it. This creates a really useful effect that can be used in many different type of games. Now, if we want our cube to move while it's rotating, this time we'll use the add relative location node. We'll simply enter a value for one of axis to make it move. Now we want our cube to grow while it's rotating. To do that, we'll first add the get relative transform node so we can access the cube's current transforms data. Next, I split the return value pin to expose the scale values and then connect them to add a plus node. Now I wanted to add 0.02 to the x, y, and z scale values every time event tick is executed. Finally, we need the set relative scale 3D node with our cube connected to its target pin. Next, connect the output of the add node to the new scale 3D input, and then connect the white execute wire to this node. Now, every time the cube rotates, a small amount is added to its scale, causing it to gradually grow over time. Next, let's build a more interesting example. This time I wanted to remove the values we have been using and applying this scaling effect to our sphere instead. So I delete the previous values and replace them with the sphere. To make the scene look more interesting, I'll add a spotlight. I'll also delete the directional light so that all the focus stays on our sphere. To make the effect even more interesting, I also add a point light. Now, when we press play, you can see the point light started in the center of the sphere. As the sphere continues to grow, the light gradually becomes hidden inside it and eventually disappears. Now I want the light intensity to increase gradually over time. So I bring the point light into the graph and use get intensity to access its current intensity value. Then I'll add a add node and enter a small value. This way, every second that amount will be added to the light intensity, making it gradually brighter over time. Now, if I connect set intensity to our execution chain, the light will still end up inside the sphere after a few seconds, making it impossible to see. So instead of only increasing its intensity, we also need to give the point light some movement. Here, we'll use the sequence node so we can create a second execution path from eventic. First, connect the second output of the sequence node to set intensity. Then, add an add relative location node and enter a value on the z-axis. Finally, connect it to the same execution chain. Now, when we press the sphere grow larger, the light become brighter, and at the same time, the point light moves upward. This gives us exactly the effect we were aiming for. To finish things off, we can simply delete the spotlight and keep our final effect. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please support the channel by liking, subscribing and sharing.